Welcome, welcome, folks. Yet again, the boys are back. We are the Auto Trends Podcast. I'm your co-host, Gideon Williams. My amigo, my partner, compadre, Lucas Welk, back from the grave. He did not get sniped. He did not get in a fight. He just had a
Well,
little bit of a cold. Wow. He's back,
yeah,
baby.
yeah, back in action. I'm a little bit of a baby, I suppose. No, actually, it was absolutely terrible. I thought I was dead. Actually, I thought I was going to die, and the episode number 20 was going to be my memorial. Rest in peace, and
I wouldn't know what
just
to do. I would have literally panicked. I wouldn't have had any
right.
clue on what to do with this without Lucas Welk.
It would just be a montage with some slow music playing in the background, with some
I'd
clips
quit.
of my famous clips, and
I'd
yeah,
quit.
rest in
I'd
peace. We
totally quit.
remember. Yeah.
Well, Sam Russo, man,
No,
that was an awesome episode. And Lucas, man, welcome back, to the
yeah,
Auto Trend Podcast, man. We're really happy that you're back and everything's good. I'm sure you're still dealing with the sickness and the ailments, but sorry you missed Sam Russo, man. What an awesome freaking episode that was. Just a
exactly. No,
very
I
chill.
really
Love it.
Yeah, no, I'm very sad I missed that. I mean, her energy and stuff is incredible and what she's doing, and yeah, I was really, really disappointed that I had to miss that one.
Her knowledge is
Yeah,
so good. Like
yeah,
like I love this industry, and I've seen it, and you're kind of going through it. I can see you're going through this process in this industry, man. Once you get in it, it sucks you in. It's
yep,
awesome.
yep,
And
yep,
like it's such an amazing industry, right? We have
yeah,
automakers that are setting the tone, right? They're very, very forward. Um, they're doing their thing, but the whole back end is this is this parts ecosystem, right? And
yep,
and so they work really much. They like work hand in hand, and we'll go over a lot of things at that. But hey, a lot of Q1 reporting's out, so I'm pretty excited to go through that, check it out, see where
yep,
we're going. How can you take your business to the next level? How can you be mindful of what's happening with some of the big players? But if you're that small mid, even if you are a big manufacturer, you should be in tune to this stuff. These are all
yep, yep,
signals. Think of all everything that goes on in the industry right now as a signal. And how do you
yep,
interpret it? The good people, the folks who win, interpret it in a really in a manner that's applicable to your business to allows you to grow. And yeah,
exactly,
just really excited for it. That is
absolutely. No,
awesome.
no,
Well,
for
I will
sure.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, getting.
Yeah, I was just
We
gonna
can start
say,
going through some of these
I
numbers.
I yeah, no worries. If you're listening to this episode and you missed episode 19 with Sam Russo, she is awesome. Go back and listen to that. If you have
Yep,
any questions around how does data work, she described it in a manner that blew my kind of brains out. And it was think of your data as if you're race, and I'm not a racer. I'm just not. I'm not a racer at all. That probably makes some people annoyed. I don't know. I just am not a racer, right?
right.
But um she said it in a way that like data is kind of it's the new oil within your organization, because that's true. I know
Yep,
we've said it before. People don't sell parts, catalog sell parts. And she basically was saying that data, it's like if you're in a race, right? It's not the driver, it's not the car, because everything is kind of regulated, right, to some degree, but it's the pit crew. And it's
yep,
whoever is more effective, more efficient as a pit crew in what that's what makes the difference. Like
yep,
that's what makes the difference between, 8% year over year growth. That makes
yep,
the difference between a conversion rate that's not 1%, but 7, 8, 10%, 12%. How high are you converting your sales in the online game? And it was
exactly.
really incredible to just listen to how she lays it out. So I encourage our listeners, first and foremost, please like and subscribe. That's the best way to support our journey. And and if you missed episode 19 with Sam Russo, go back and check that out. It's really, really incredible. And I encourage everyone to.
Yeah,
Um,
we see it. I mean, every day, Gideon. I mean, data now is so important, and to know what metrics you're looking at, and I think most organizations now are really investing a lot of money in having these data analysts and understanding the data, because I think a lot of organizations have data, but they don't know what to do with the data or how to interpret the data, or they're just looking at the back end system of things and saying, okay, right, here's the numbers, but what does this mean, or what do we change, or and we see even some of these online platforms as well. I think that they're offering now all these back end analytics and services for online retailers, manufacturers, distributors. But some of these platforms now are also offering, you get a customer success manager that will actually walk you through these analytics and what does this mean, and we'll
100%.
walk you through it, bi-weekly, or they'll walk you through it monthly and saying, right, here's your conversion rate. This is, how many website views you got. Here's how many clicks on this. Here's the products that you're selling. Here's how many times these customers have purchased products from you. And, and that's so important, and that may not be something your organization currently has, that kind of talent on, on the books, but these other organizations are offering it as part of their package. So that's interesting.
Well, I think when you look at the historical context, those were never important, right? Enriching
That's
our
right.
catalog, right? Finding the
Yep.
gaps. Well, where's our analytics? Well, how do you grow? Well, we just grow through distributors. That is so
Yep.
old, man. Let's get out of this geriatric way of thinking. It's really
Yes.
an old way. If technicians are aging out, right? We know that technicians are aging out. The new millennials, and I would say, Lucas, you and I are in that kind of category. We're starting to creep up in leadership, right? It's no longer, oh shit, I'm an entry level guy, right? And it's no longer, you need 10 years for this job and I only have one, right? So you're seeing
Yep.
this new way of thinking pull into these executive level leaderships, and they're just not going to continue what has happened in the past. And so
That's right.
I think, and this kind of goes right into ACPN is coming up. I know we talked about it. Sam Russo will be there. I'll be there. Unfortunately, Lucas, you won't be there.
I will not.
But I will have your, I'll be representing hard, man. So
Yep.
holler at your boy.
And I think maybe
Go
Auto
ahead.
Trends will have a nice little, maybe we'll do a little live on location, something like that from ACPN as well.
100%. I actually was talking
No.
with Sam about that. I
Perfect.
think, and by the way, if you're listening here and you're going to be at ACPN and you're like, man, like, I just want to really kind of help promote what we're doing in our initiative. It's crazy that we hit the 20th episode, Lucas. Congratulations,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Like,
No,
I'm
it's
so
wild.
proud
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that, man. Remember, we were
exactly.
planning
Yep,
this, we were talking about it, and now it's taken off of a life of its own. You're now driving a
exactly.
Ferrari. That's unreal. It's
Exactly. Look at
unbelievable.
exactly. And I sit on the streets. Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah,
like, all kidding
yeah,
aside, it's turned into this. Like, we're such a service to the industry.
yep,
And please, if you have, a product or your initiative or your vision, we're here to help provide that. That's exactly what this platform is for. So
yes.
please reach out to us if you're at ACPN in Chicago. Just let me know. Happy to have a
Yep,
conversation. I'll be
exactly.
at most all the events. We have so many great jam-packed events on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you're going but you don't know what to do, just go check out the calendar. Just Google ACPN Connect 2024 Chicago. It comes right up. There is so much great information there. Everyone there is data
Exactly.
oriented, e-commerce oriented. So even if you're the president or you own a manufacturer, you're small mid market, like, God, how do I do this? Actually, I was in a meeting with a young manufacturer, and man, they were so
Right. Yeah, yeah.
when it comes to the digital world, because all they want to do
Yep.
is make great products. That's all they want to
Exactly.
do. But I'm like,
And as
guys,
they,
go ahead.
but they should really, yeah, like stay focused on what you do well, but don't, what I don't like seeing is these organizations trying to be, something they're not, or trying to take an HR manager and saying, okay, you're the best HR manager on the planet, but now we're going to kind of move you over to a data, analyst. And we want you to look at this data, try to understand it, but that's not their role. They
Such
don't
a
know how
mistake.
to do that. And,
Such a
yeah,
mistake.
you're just, they don't know what the metrics are. They don't even know what they're measuring. Is what they're measuring good? Is it bad? What's their return rates? Their customer turnover, and if you're not in the business understanding this data day after day after day, which some people are, like Sam Russo, for example, she understands the data and where the numbers need to be at, and looking at those numbers and saying, right, we're not hitting these particular metrics, and here's exactly why, and this is what we need to do to change that. So leave it to the professionals. Leave it to somebody that can properly analyze this data and give you the proper feedback that you need. Because you won't learn it yourself. I mean, you know,
100%. Well, specialization, and even Sam mentioned she made a great point. More and more companies are outsourcing specialization. Like, for
exactly.
example, why would we build our own, I don't know, direct consumer channel whenever we have somebody that's so specialized in it that really can take it, that they have 10, 20, 10 years of successes and failures, and they've paid the price, right?
Exactly.
Versus, I've been in plenty big meetings and big type of deals where it was like, okay, um, here we have a monster of a manufacturer. They're trying to in-house everything, and they're finding their failure points while they're learning as they go. And then executive leadership is like, well, we have, a multi-million-dollar investment in this, and it's still not what we want, and there's still no return on it. Well, why? Because
Exactly.
it's the cost of learning. The
Yes.
cost of adolescence is real, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Sure it is.
like kind of what we talk about, man, to tap somebody who's an expert at that field. We're not
Exactly.
experts at everything, but we have
No.
connected so many people into the right kind of specialization that basically allows them to take what their objectives are and move it into a
Right.
fraction of cost and a
Yep.
fraction of time and effort, and they get
Yep.
the premium outcome, the business outcome
Exactly.
they were after.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
It's kind of a cliche, but I mean, you and I work with it every day, but when we have meetings and we sit on these board meetings, but if you're playing with a team of all A players, and again, that sounds very cliche like, but
yeah.
if you've got, you're sitting around the table with all the best guys, highly specialized in their particular field, that's the kind of decisions I want to be making. We don't want to be sitting around the table making decisions about something we don't know about, that we're guessing that well, why don't we give this a try, or why don't we give that a try? That doesn't work anymore. You have to be at
Well,
the elite level if you want to
you
compete.
read case studies on it constantly. Like case studies on, well, we had a, I don't know, a $4.5 million technology product, then we had cost overruns of 2.5 million, then we had a overrun of 1.5 to 2 years, and we still don't have the outcome we were after, the business outcome. But
Yeah,
those use cases are everywhere, and if you go into any business school, they're highly documented. They're highly
yeah,
documented around technology and how that can really get sideways quick. And we always talk about it. Like, even when we talk about the importance of high upside, low risk, right? When you start to look at technology and e-commerce, if you come in with a lot of risk and a lot of expectations, it's actually a recipe for disaster. It's a
yeah. Sure
recipe
it
that
is.
actually will fail because you have
Yep.
high investment, high risk, high expectations. Oh, we missed expectations in the short term, we pull the
Right.
plug. Well, why did you even
Yep.
start in the beginning? Low risk,
Exactly.
low investment, but really, really high upside. And then you
Yep.
begin to stair step it incrementally into a program that can really blow your mind. Now you have cataloging that is absolutely premium. You have a platform that's absolutely premium. So I know
Yep.
we kind of get into this stuff, but one thing that I think is really interesting, and we'll talk about this today, is just a recap on Q1, man. There's a lot of interesting indicators out there.
Yeah. There is.
Automakers, you're seeing that they're starting to slide. We're seeing
Yep.
negative growth in
Yep.
Q1 year
Yep.
over year. But an interesting correlation is parts manufacturers, they're all seeing year over year increase.
Right. Yep. Yep. No, very
So,
interesting. Interesting.
yeah. Well,
So
and I'll tell you my take. This is so if we go through it, Tesla, and again, this is the EV side. I'm so confused on EV. It's like an
exactly.
emotional sister that you're like, huh, I think I like you some days.
Right. I think
Like,
it's inevitable. I mean, long term,
I don't
I
know.
think long term, I think I mean, what's the alternative? Realistically, long term, I'm not a massive fan of it myself, but
Well,
I
I don't
think
know. It serves a
um
purpose, and people love it, and I hear they're great. I've driven in
yeah,
plenty and ridden in plenty, but I don't own one. But
right. Yep.
I it's just to be determined. Like, okay, so Tesla, we would go deep. Um, their net income fell 55% to
Yep.
1.1 billion. But they own the EV, right? That's I don't know how to
Exactly.
read that. Is that speculation, right? A lot of people say
Right.
what Tesla was speculatively,
That's right.
increased because of consumers. Oh yeah, confidence and government and everything else that happens with that.
Yep. And even Lithia, they're down 28%
You see that?
net income. Yeah, down
Yeah.
28% as well.
But what's interesting about that, gross profit down 22%. And so
Yep.
okay, this is interesting. Gross profit is down 22% per vehicle for Q1 year over year. You remember the COVID spike? You remember the price gouging? Everyone's like, holy shit, why am I'm selling my used vehicle more than I paid for it? This is ridiculous.
Yep.
So we're basically seeing the correction. But where we're seeing the correction at, you look at Asbury, another massive auto group, down 19%.
Yep. 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 Mercedes-Benz,
Toyota,
same thing.
Yep.
Their EV growth is cooling,
and I've said this a long time, is when cost of capital increases or the economy contracts, meaning free cash flow, spending habits, where are people putting their money? Are they putting it on the consumer, that emotional buy, or are they now going into their resources and needs for their family? So when cost of capital begins to tighten up and the economy slowly contracts, you start to see new car sales dip, right?
Yes.
But what you see is it's negatively correlated with the parts industry. The parts industry increases. Why?
Yep.
Because people are making their decisions largely at an aggregate macro level. Well, I don't know, Lucas. We should probably keep the Winnebago for another year. Let's just fix it.
Right. Exactly.
So those are just massive indicators. That's why I think the parts business is the best business you could ever be in. Like if you're just somebody like, I want to be in a business, I want to, dude, parts online, man. Parts e-commerce is a great business. You look at Delphi, Delco Remy, Hartridge, Q1 increased 3.4%. This is par for the course.
Yep.
You're seeing replacements happen on a more consistent basis. Fuel system, electrical systems, aftermarket solutions. They're aftermarket. They have some OE contracts, but their aftermarket labels are growing. You look at Genuine Parts Company, a company that I think we should continue to follow. They're overhauling their world through technology. Up 0.3% increase of $5.58 billion. Yeah.
No, AutoZone.
You see that with AutoZone?
1.2% increase. Yep.
Were they up?
25.1. Yeah. Internationally. I mean, that's huge.
Okay.
21.5%.
Well, think about that. Yeah. You know how
and that's the problem. A lot of these, what do you think? Like with these, we're talking to lots of parts manufacturers and distributors. The international market, how much of them, are really starting to take a look at that market. I think that's an untapped market for these guys as well.
I was reading a book. McCormick is his last name. It's actually the book's called What You Do Not Learn in a Harvard MBA. I'm trying to think of his first name. It's a great
I know
book.
what you mean.
Yeah. Great book. If there's any young person out there like, oh man, like how do I learn from the best? God, what the hell is I'm literally looking at the book right there. McCormick, he excuse me. He was one of the first, I'm trying to remember the company that he founded. They started The Agent, Arnold Palmer, all these guys. He was basically the first sports agent, and he built this amazing business. And he talked a whole chapter about international market and international trade. He said, if you can just scrape the icing off the top of the international market, it'll change your business.
Yeah.
So when you look at AutoZone, 25% jump internationally, that's an indicator, boys.
Huge.
Think about your international trade. Think about setting up suppliers from the U.S., dropping it into ultimate countries. It's an untapped market.
That's right, because they're certainly doing it from there. You look at them; they're ahead of us. I mean, you look at China, obviously. You look at India. You look at even some European countries,
Africa, South America.
I mean, they're exporting their stuff like mad and flooding our markets. I mean, how often, Gideon, are we talking to people in the U.S.? And even I think we had a call. It was last week to somebody in Mexico, and they were just saying, these Chinese parts coming from China are absolutely killing our business.
Yeah.
But I think people
Flip
are
this.
catching on to that as well, and you're always going to have those people that just want the cheapest shit at the
I
cheapest
don't give a
price.
shit.
Don't
Yeah.
give a don't give a fuck where it comes from. But I think especially younger generations now, I think are quite clued in with, hey, that's America first. Let's support the U.S. Let's support our local manufacturers, local distributors, local
100%.
guys, people, and
100%.
yeah, and as we should do,
100%.
as we should.
You know what? I don't know if you saw that. This is another big indicator. Carparts.com,
Yep, I
175
did see
million,
that.
6% increase.
Yes. Yep.
Big
Yep.
indicator for
Huge.
online. There's we are and Lucas, we do this for a living, and I love, for whatever reason, and hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Please tell me, no, Gideon, you're an idiot. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. I don't take it personal.
Right.
But
You should, but you don't.
just tell me, Gideon, you
Everybody
suck.
just tells me the same thing all the time that I'm really stupid, but I'm not. I'm not. Yeah.
My father's been telling me that for years.
Yeah, exactly.
God, now my train of thought. No, everything related in our industry that is connected with a digital experience, we are seeing zero declines. Correct
Right.
me if I'm wrong, Lucas.
100%. No,
Zero.
100%.
We're not
Absolutely.
seeing a lot of like, well, this big retailer, they lost 15% market share year over year. Huh?
That's right.
No,
That's
they're
right.
all, and so if anyone has any clue on what carparts.com does, for our new listeners that are unsure, carparts.com was there. I don't know if they were one of the first, but basically their model was, we're going to take products from distributors, right? We talk a lot about distributors, that connective tissue, manufacturers, how that's evolving. More manufacturers are going direct to consumer, and they're driving the volume into distributors. If you're a big manufacturer and you're like, we're never going to do it, well, you should probably think about it, because you're going to get beat. But when you look at carparts.com, they were ultimately like a retailer, right? And many of these retailers leveraged the WD, they got the catalogs, they sold on marketplaces. The marketplaces are drying up. Why? Because what you just mentioned, Lucas, the Chinese bullshit knockoff, and that's no diss on China, man. Just do what you get. They're doing what they're got to do, right? They do what they know how to do.
Yep.
But when you look at what they did, and it's pretty smart that they've diversified how they're going to market. And they do have some distribution facilities that they own, which is smart, because what it does is it allows you to control price to some degree. When you're always relying on a partner, you don't rely on price.
That's right.
And so that is interesting. Another one, Denso. Do you see Denso? 21% increase.
21%. Yep. Massive.
Yeah, the CEO was like,
and these.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, these small little guys, now if they're looking to distribute, nationwide, internationally, they've got the ability to have the biggest microphone in the world, just as much as any other of these large organizations. You've got tons of social media platforms. You can build a world-class looking website, let's say just as good as Microsoft's website, in how long and for how much? For very cheap. I mean, if somebody wants to go on a website, and I'm not saying for the automotive industry, but I'm just saying in general, and you want a world-class website that looks just as good as Microsoft's aesthetically, you can go onto Wix, you can go onto Squarespace, and you can make yourself look like a massive 500-person organization. So there's really no excuse now for these small guys getting into the business, because you can have a presence and a loudspeaker just as loud as Microsoft now, as these big organizations. So
Well, it's
don't
a
be
level
afraid.
playing field.
That's right. Yeah. Don't be afraid that, well, they're just going to stop me because they've got billions of dollars and I have zero, and I'm putting everything on my credit card. You're just going to be building, build smarter, build quicker. These guys aren't agile. These big, even manufacturers, these distributors, a lot of these guys are very slow moving. So if you're small and agile and you can take advantage of these these different technology trends and just pivot very, very quickly, you'll beat these guys. You'll beat them eventually. You'll catch up
100%.
to them. Very quick.
100%. And think big. And I know we're getting close on time, Lucas. This was just a quick recap, and we're going to do some more Q1 in depth because we've only touched a few minor things. But it's just awesome. Standard Motor Products, massive company, 1.6% increase. We're seeing it.
Yep.
We're seeing it, folks. It's a cyclical move. When the economy contracts, your parts increase. When the economy expands, new cars are going off the shelf. Typically, your parts aggregate is about all else equal, but it is negatively correlated with the economy, and that's globally. Right. That holds true. So, if you're thinking about the online business, you're in it, you're not in it. We do this all the time. We really enjoy it. If you're like clueless, like, oh God, I just want to have a question. Ask a question. We're happy to answer it. We're happy to put you in touch with somebody that can be an expert. But rule of thumb as we look about it, and we're going to do a whole nother episode on this exact topic, looking at Q1, looking at where you can really refine your decision making as a business and online business and parts. You know, you may not have any clue where to go. We can give you starting points. It's actually simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? It's a very simple process, but you just got to deploy that knowledge. And we're seeing it. The economy is slowly contracting. We're seeing an absolute expansion in the parts departments. And so I would say, folks, if you're ever on the fence about how you're doing your business, take action today. It is very, very simple. Just have the right people around you is my advice, and go for it.
100%.
I mean, attack, you know.
100%. You've got these people again, like Sam Russo and these guys. They're all available on LinkedIn. I mean, these are free resources that you can tap into. You can get in touch with us. And I mean, they're 100%. Not, you know, they're nice people. You know, look at all of our past interviews that we've done over the last few months. If any of our listeners want to reach out to any one of those individuals, you'll find I would say all of them actually on LinkedIn. And I can guarantee to you, every one of them will respond to you. That would be, you know, 100%. And happily help. And
we'll connect you. Every single guest we have on the Auto Trends podcast. And this actually brings us in as we close this out. If you have an initiative you're looking to support, you're scared as shit. You're like, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. Grow some balls, man. Come on. Maybe I should. Maybe that was politically incorrect. But like fortitude. It's so fun. Yeah. It's so much fun. I encourage you to come on. We'd love to have you. And we'd love to share your insights, give you a platform, propel you into the next level of potentially your career, give you the voice. And that's exactly why we started this. And you know, I will say as we begin to sign off here for the day, I look forward to the next episode that we do, Lucas. Pretty happy that you're back up and running and you're not dead.
I am. Yep.
Excited for that. And anything else that we should share before we call it a day?
I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, hey, folks, as always, we are the Auto Trends Podcast. Please, if you like our content, if you like what we're doing, like and subscribe. If you don't have to do anything. You actually can even send us an email and say, hey, I don't really like what you guys do. We would encourage you to do that because we want to hear from you anyways. But as always, folks, it is an exciting time to be in the industry. I would say no better time to be in automotive than now. We are the Auto Trends Podcast.